Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Ha! The Rock's laying the smackdown. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth. The Rock says, know your damn role.
Welcome back to the Watch Little Series podcast. Brandon, Devin, and Rashanii is back with us for another movie review. And this is not a Dwayne Johnson movie, but this is a movie where the actor should know his role. And we are reviewing Aquaman. Arthur Curry learns that he is the heir to the underwater kingdom of Atlantis and must step forward to lead his people and be a hero to the world. Directed by James Wan, starring Jason Mamoa, Amber Heard, William Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, Nicole Kidman, Dolph Lundgren. A good cast, I could say, but we're not going to have a whole lot of good to say about this film. So let's start with Rashanii. What were your overall thoughts?
Let that birthday boy cook. Let him cook.
Devin, you go first.
Okay. So, I realized what movie I was watching early into this film. They didn't give a fuck about Aquaman or telling me an Aquaman story. They said, we have a pretty face named Jason Mamoa, and we're going to sell the fuck out of Jason Mamoa, pretending to be the guy that can breathe underwater and do some other things. Nicole Kidman was, they wasted a good cast.
They wasted Nicole Kidman. Wasted her.
Yeah. I would say that I guess I was supposed to make the link with them being Hawaiian and then being Hawaiian in Boston. I guess he was teased because they was racist. Because I really got some racial undertones from that. Other than that, I watched it. I was really upset about the blackness in this, like Black Manta. And then Black Manta's dad, I was like, oh, that could have been something. And then they threw that away as well. Black Manta, the character, they threw that away as well. The fucking technology with the Black Manta helmet, why the fuck would you do that?
All right, I said overall thoughts. Not every thought.
I mean, yeah, it's just a lot. I didn't understand
film,
a lot.
We gotta stop.
And it was long as fuck.
We gotta stop grading DC on the curve. Like, I heard people go before, oh, this film was good. This film was good. I really liked this film. And I'm like, okay, this is before I saw the film. I'm like, okay, maybe DC finally got it. Maybe it's a good film. And I watched the film, and it wasn't a terrible film, but it wasn't a good film. It was a bad film. It wasn't, like the films we're reviewing on retro reviews. It wasn't Green Lantern. It's not Fantastic Four. It's not any of those shitty films. But we're also in 2018, so comparable to the movies that we get from Marvel, consistently comparable to Into the Spider-Verse, this film does not hold up. And I've always said this, and I talked about this in our Spider-Man review. I don't need the comic book movies to be exactly like the comic books. I need them to have the core of the characters. I need them to represent something that's familiar to the characters that made them famous in the first place. This film was, Jason Momoa, you look good without a shirt. We're going to send you underwater and call you Aquaman. And you be Jason Momoa, fucking rock star, dude, bro, underwater, and we'll call you Aquaman. And here's the thing. If you're talking about equality, you know how many films that people play to sexism and just put women who are sexy on the film and put them in a little bit of clothes and say, people are going to go see this film. And so if you do that with Jason Momoa, that's fine. But don't tell me that it's Aquaman, because it wasn't Aquaman. And there was a lot wrong with this film besides that, which we'll get into.
Rashanii!
I wish that nigga had drowned.
Okay, nope. It's a good start. Good start. Okay.
Every piece of this movie was an accident. It was a mistake. Like, somebody halfway through filming this movie should have just shut down production. Been like, cut, cut, cut. Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong, director? What's going wrong? I just realized we made a huge fucking mistake. Even deciding to put this movie together. I'm sorry for wasting y'all's time. Go home. Bye-bye. We're not doing this to people. We're not going to... How? That's really it. That's it. How? My wife and I, my beloved wife Nisha and I went to see this movie. We
Damn.
didn't pay money. Thanks, cinema. This is all on your tab. We walked into the movie theater. It was not the fullest theater, but it wasn't empty either. That's fucked up. And the people who sat next to us, it was an old guy and his son. And the old guy and his son sat there, and they were white folks. And I was like, they're going to be so mad at me when I start laughing at the screen halfway through. And I started laughing at the screen, not even halfway through. I started laughing at the screen about 15 minutes into the movie. I started laughing at the screen, uproariously laughing at the movie. And the thing is, he's sitting right there laughing at the same things. Nigga, we bonded. Me and an old white guy bonded over how bad Aquaman is. Baby, they want me to review Aquaman. They want me to tell them what I saw. And look, he should have drowned. That's it. A shark should have ate him. Somebody should have bitch slapped him. This movie should have never happened. They should have just said, you know what we're going to do from now on, DC comic movies, whatever the fuck their thing is called, is now officially Wonder Woman films. That's all we're going to do, because they accidentally did a good Wonder Woman film and didn't figure out how they did it. And they went back and fucked this up, and now I'm scared to see Flash. I think that's the shortest way to talk about these movies.
Well, here's what's going to really make you mad. Well, first of all, before I get to that, James Wan directed this film. He's a good director. He's made good films. So I don't know. And then I saw an interview with him, and it was his choice to make Jason Mamoa. He was like, yeah, I asked him to be that because, I thought that would be cool. Like, James, I've seen you make good films before. Like,
can I say this real quick? For all of the Jason Momoa love that he's been getting and all that kind of stuff, and I realize he's handsome and muscle-bound and all that good stuff, the best role he had was when he wasn't fucking speaking English.
Yeah.
Nobody understood what he said. Nobody understood what he said when he was called Drago. He was just a cute guy who knocked up the Khaleesi and then died, and people thought he was great. Let's think about another role he did that was bigger than Game of Thrones. You can't.
I've had people tell me that he can actually act, and I'm like,
I don't believe it.
I have where is this film at? Because I haven't.
Is it Baywatch? I'm thinking he was probably in Baywatch somehow. I feel like he has a Baywatch face and a Baywatch body.
Okay, that was The Rock, but okay.
He wasn't in Baywatch.
No, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the
TV show.
Oh, yeah, okay, no, okay.
But yeah, he. So people keep telling me this. I'm just like, I would like to see that. And here's the thing: it's entirely possible that he can act. It's entirely possible that he can act, but people go, Jason Momoa sells. And to that point, this film has made $1 billion. $1 billion. Aquaman has made $1 billion. Spider-Man Homecoming didn't make $1 billion. Wonder Woman didn't make $1 billion. Justice League didn't come close to making $1 billion.
Well, good. Fucking good for them. Bravo. That means they can make a sequel and fucking give the black villain, who is the baddest villain that Aquaman has in his entire universe, make him able to stand up to a punch.
Yes,
How about that?
He will be.
How about you treat the black villain with the respect he deserves as a fucking ultra killer? How about that? How about this? How about this? You make more sense. You make more sensible villains. So then when Aquaman is fucking dropping, when he's punching through the top of a submarine lid, instead of watching him with your reticles shining right where he's going to drop through, when he drops in and starts saying pithy one-liners, shoot him in the fucking face.
My two biggest
complaints
with this film are, one, the score was horrific. It might have been one of the worst scores I've ever heard in a film. Like the music they were playing with, like when he and Amber Heard, when Mira were like in Italy or wherever they were, just walking around like this Three Stooges music, the villain, like it was horrible. It completely took me out of every scene. Every scene, the score, like they did not get the score down for any scene. And when he's running around there playing like hard rock fucking dude bro music, I'm like, what is this, man? This like the score is horrific. And then the other thing is they completely wasted a good cast. Like they had a good cast. I mean, this is consistent with DC movies, but the DC movies consistently has been casted well. Their casting director has done a very good job casting these characters. I'm not saying Jason Momoa, but the rest of the cast, Amber Heard is Mira, William Dafoe is Volko, Patrick Wilson is King Orm. Like, they had good casting. Patrick Wilson was completely wasted in this film. King Orm was essentially your fucking cookie-cutter villain who had no purpose, who basically just ran around killing people, and in a way where I didn't need to see. I did not need to see all those scenes in the fucking different people under Atlantis. They tried to do too many movies in once. They tried to do Arthur's Rise to the Throne while also doing the Battle of the Seven Kingdoms, while also telling about the threat between Earth and Atlantis, all in the same movie. Like, you're trying to do 3 movies into one movie and you got none of it right. Not a single part of it correct.
Did you like the technology in the film, Brandon?
No.
What technology? Look, so you're gonna say nice stuff about this film, and I understand. It's like you're a comic enthusiast, and that's cool. I dig that. I dig you. You're good people. Did I mention you're good people? I just want to make sure you know how much I like you as a person, as a podcaster, and as a friend. But you are fucking wrong, and they should have never done this movie. Let's talk about, you're talking about the score. You're putting this on the musicians like it's their fucking fault. Let's talk about the fact that they looked at every action movie that's ever came out and were like, we like that. Let's take that. Which is why they had in a 2-hour movie like 600 slow motion scenes.
Yes.
For no reason. 600 slow motion scenes, hair flying in slow motion. Let's talk about the fact that they made Aquaman and his dad fucking drunks because they drink like fishes. Did anybody else get that other than me?
Fishermen.
No, they drink like fishes. They drink like a fish. Yeah. Aquaman can drink like a fish. Nobody else got that but me, and I groaned at the screen. Let's talk about them out driving a fucking tsunami.
Fucking San Andreas has happened, right? It's happening.
Because exactly, they're taking the things they like best from other movies. Let's talk about how at one point Black Manta and his dad have this loving moment where they're like, I love you, Dad. I love you, too. We're doing a life of crime together. Aquaman shows up. What's up, dude? They don't shoot at him. He takes the lid of a submarine and uses it like Captain America's fucking shield. He throws it at somebody, and it bounces back to him. And then it bounces off a wall. And then Aquaman goes over to Black Manta and his dad licks shots at him, whatever. So Aquaman decides, throw some shit at him that impels him to a wall. And then Aquaman, who's a superhero, leaves, and the dad is like, please help me. And the son is like, please help him. And Aquaman's like, nah, bro, fuck you both. I'm a dip. See you later.
That's the beginning of the movie. That is
very beginning. And then just, goes back to the surface and continues to drink with his dad like a fish. No, let's talk about this. This is the first part. This is the first time I laughed in the movie. This is the first time I laughed in the movie. The sea, like the land, brings people together.
Yes.
Let's really stop and think about that statement for a second. The sea, which separates land, we literally had to build items to traverse the sea to bring people together. The sea, like the land, brings people together, but you have to build a boat in order to get across the sea. I can walk across land. I can walk across the street right now to see what my neighbor's doing. I can't walk across the sea because the sea separates people.
See, now you're getting way into it.
No, I'm not.
You're getting way
No,
into
that
it.
That was the first line of the movie.
That was the first line of the movie. But I think what they were trying to say is the people who live in the sea,
Under the sea.
they can
Under
traverse.
the sea.
They
Why
can
does that
traverse
entire
it.
area look like a live action
Okay,
version
so
of
yes, I wanted to get to that. That they made Atlantis look like Batman Forever. I said,
it was colorful as shit.
I said, was Joel Schumacher had something to do with this film? Because I haven't seen this many colors since I saw Batman and Robin, and that I was like, I get it. See, this is the problem with DC. They hear the criticism from people, right? So for Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, people are like, why the fuck are your films so dark? You can't see. Not only are they dark story wise, they're literally dark. You can't see shit. You need to brighten up your film. And so this film, they go, oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this saturation bar right here in After Effects or Adobe Premiere, and we're going to slide the saturation all the way to the top. And so that we can fully saturate these colors so that you can really see under the sea. And they tried to, I'll give them an ounce of credit. They tried to explain it by saying, like, Atlanteans have different eyes. So when they're underwater, everything is bright to them. And I go, okay.
Did you like the effect with the contact change? Did you like that?
Did you like the part where they also, like I said, they stole from all good movies and tried to make it into their own movie? Did you like the part where they stole from Black Panther and all the people from Atlantis went their separate ways, and now there's like 5 different kingdoms?
Yeah, well, they did have that's actually from a comic book storyline. It's the War of the Seven Kingdoms. It was like a real big storyline in the Aquaman book, and it was actually good in the book. But the problem is, if you're going to
I've never seen this comic book. I'm just watching the movie, and it seemed a lot like those ones in the trench, in the Mariana Trench that they dove all the way down to with the flare. Yeah. With the flare, like they dove underwater and went miles under the water with a flare that never went out. And then when it did go out, they just, took out a lighter and lit another one.
Here's the thing. That scene, with the exception of the flare, was probably the best shot scene on the film. Yeah.
It was.
But that's because James Wan is a horror director. And so he got to do a horror scene, and guess what? It hit. You felt like that shit was scary. But then you made that scene, 2.5 minutes? Like they literally just swam really fast and then came up and fucking in the
Narnia.
Yeah.
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. That's what I was going to say. God, just came up in Land of the Lost, and you basically took one of the best scenes. Because here's the thing. This was not the film they were originally going to make. This is not. Because I remember hearing James Wan talk about this film when he got chosen as director, and they talked about how Atlantis was going to be scary, and they were going to show the creatures underwater, and there was going to be a lot of horror aspects of the film. And that got some people interested in the film, and that got me interested in the film. But then because the rest of the DC films flopped so much, and because of the darkness of those films, they completely did a 180 and said, we got to brighten this film up. And you can tell it was artificially brightened. Literally, like, artificially bright. Like, that film was not shot that bright. That was clearly done in post-production. And then also, they completely changed the narrative of the film to bring more comedy in the film. And the comedy, here's the thing. I've laughed at some DC film one-liners. I don't think there was a single one-liner in this film that I laughed at. Not a single one. They were some of the worst one-liners I've ever seen in a film in recent time.
Also, let's take time out to really applaud them for having. Also, I didn't get to say all the things they stole from other movies. The running on rooftops scene in Italy, that was stolen from The Bourne Identity and all these other movies. Let's just have them running over rooftops, Mission Impossible for no reason, and have them split up. And let's have them take time out of a thing where the world's falling apart, people are about to go to war, all that good stuff. But let's stop to let them fall in love in Italy.
Yeah, and let's make Amber Heard eat a flower. Because
exactly,
they're so stupid. She doesn't know anything about the surface world, so she eats a flower. Like, get the fuck. Here's the thing: why would so much of this film take place outside of the water? Like, I get it; he can live on Earth and on water, but that wasn't the story you were telling this film. You weren't. This wasn't the Atlantis brings the war to the surface world film. If that was the A plot of this film, then I get why you would spend half the film on Earth. on the surface world. But there was no A plot in this film. There was 3 C plots that they tried to form an A plot, and none of them hit. None of them hit, and it was so frustrating watching this film because I'll say this: there is a good film in this film. There are aspects of this film, if were exploited correctly and acted correctly, could make this film a good film. It could. If you were to focus on one of the 3 stories, on his rise to be king, on the War of the Seven Kingdoms, or on the Earth, the surface world versus the sea world, surface world versus the sea world war. If you would have took one of those and said this is going to be the plot of this film, you could do that and and that way you have time to tell your story. But when you try to tell those 3 stories, none of those stories get the proper time, so none of them are good. And then here's the other thing. Rashanii brought up Mira and Arthur falling in love. It seemed like it was shoehorned into this film. But here's the thing. It's fine. If you want them to fall in love because that's the story that you want to tell, that's fine. I didn't see any chemistry between those 2. None.
Well, they have time to build that. Yeah, they didn't even. They went on this.
Because from the very first scene where she was like, "Hey, yo, you're the king underwater. Come down and help us fight," and he was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. I saw far more chemistry between Nicole Kidman and his dad.
They got it.
Than them 2. And
hey, real talk, before you go any further, they really should have played Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
That was so
every
sad.
time that he went out there.
That shit was sad.
That man did that every morning. Can you imagine that? Every morning for years going there.
Fucking at least 20-something years. At least fucking 20-something years he did that shit, yo.
Well, I think they said how old he was. I think Jason Momoa was supposed to be like 31 or something. Or 32, something like that. So, yeah, at least 25 years he was out there doing that.
Yo, the worst part of this movie, the whole movie, was the fucking end of the movie. So, you beat your brother. You say that we'll work on our relationship, but I'm going to put you in jail. And then I'm the king in the movie. And then roll credits. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to one of the homegirls who, damn, this movie came out so long ago, and I wiped it so clearly from my head that I can't remember who it was who said it. But she said she was at the movie theater, and as she was leaving out of the movie theater, she heard a woman ask her kid what he gained from that movie, what he gleaned from that movie. And the kid said, and I quote, "Just another white man getting away with crimes that he should have died for." And I'm like, you know what? That sums it up in a nutshell. Like, that nigga literally tried to wage, like, world war. And you're just like, mom's here, and I'm going to learn to love you, and you're going to learn to love me. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
And we're going to talk more about that in our Vice review. But, yes.
Ooh, such a great movie.
That was really actually a good movie, and we'll get to that. Here's the thing. I think they wasted Black Manta. I think there were signs in this film of that can be a good story. I think he could pull off that character, and I think he probably could play well off of Jason Momoa, but they didn't give him nothing to do. He was just an afterthought in this film. They gave him nothing to do. Then he got his ass whipped, and then they showed in the after credit scene that he's like still alive. So I guess Aquaman 2, he's going to be the main villain, which that's what should have been Aquaman. Like, okay, if you're not going to do, you had two chances. To me, you had 2 stories to tell with this film. You either do an origin story of how he became Aquaman or the rise to the kingdom, or you come in with him already Aquaman, and then you show Black Manta and why he became Black Manta, and you do a reverse origin story with Aquaman stopping him. They just put Black Manta in this film because they figured it's Aquaman, it has to be Black Manta in the film. And that's basically the gist of what you get from Black Manta in this film. There was no added. He was not needed in the film. They made nobody needed in this film. Everyone was pointless in this film except Jason Momoa. And here's the thing. DC is going to take all the wrong lessons from this film because people grade DC on the curve. So you got people giving it a decent score. You got critics and fans saying, "Oh, I like the movie. I thought it was, this is what you hear all the time. Compared to Justice League, this was a good film." Okay, this was better than Justice League. That's not saying much. That's not saying, but it says 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fine. That's slightly above average. Like, people are giving this film way more credit than it deserves. It says 79% on the audience score. Fans like it. And then it went overseas and made $759 million. So, DC's going to say, the critics didn't hate it, the fans liked it, and it made $1 billion. Let's do this again. But guess what? It doesn't work like that. Aquaman 2 is not. If they do this again in Aquaman 2, it's not going to make $1 billion. It's not. It's not even going to come close. And it's very upsetting for someone who loves comic book films to see DC continuously not get it. And I had once had hope for Shazam. This shit took all the hope out of Shazam as possible.
Not me, but I'm telling you like this, straight out. They better not. They bet not mess up Chuck. They better not mess up Chuck. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. The only reason why I'm in on that movie is because of Chuck. I don't even know. Levi? I don't know what his real name is. I don't care. He's Chuck. They better not mess up Chuck. This movie ran into issues that DC and viewers overlooked in order to make themselves feel good. The Jason Momoa ripping Amber Heard's books in half so then she paid attention to him was skeevy as hell. Also, behind that, Ezra Miller, who's in The Flash, which was the other character that I liked from Justice League.
You did?
Yeah, I liked Ezra Miller too.
Oh, I like the character. This is running pissed me off. I forgot that running pissed me off.
Turned out to be a tremendous dick bag. So that's two people down and out. And I'm just like, DC, like, y'all can't do nothing right. You never want to be that abusive person who just turns around to somebody and says, y'all just can't do nothing right. You were born in the bred fuck up. But DC, y'all just keep fucking up. You take 2 steps forward and you take 15 back. And I don't care what anybody says about Aquaman. It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Did you enjoy it?
If you want to see a good superhero movie, just wait. Like, Marvel's coming. Like, you don't have to go subject yourself to DC movies because they're there. You don't have to do that. The best way, let's do it the same way we say about video games. Vote with your wallets, people.
Okay.
If you want DC to do better, stop going to see them.
Yeah, people keep going to see their movies. So they're going to keep making the same movies. And you can tell they don't have any plan for these movies. And so they just put out whatever. And so as of right now, this is what we have for DC coming up. You got Shazam, which will be coming out.
I'm going to see that
in a couple months. And then you have Wonder Woman 84, which got pushed back. It got pushed back 4 months. It was supposed to come out in the summertime. It got pushed back. And then you got the Joker movie, I think, comes out in October, which the Joker movie is not in this DCEU. It's a completely separate Joker movie. And it's supposedly a Joker origin story, which, like I've said 1,000 times on this show, who asked for a Joker origin story, but they're going to do it. Now, the cast for that Joker movie is fucking incredible. Like, Joaquin Phoenix, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro. Like, the cast in that Joker movie is incredible. Do I have any faith that movie is going to be good? No.
No.
You know where else the cast was incredible? Aquaman.
Yeah, the cast was good. Zazie Beetz is in the Joker movie. Like, that is a great cast. I don't think it's going to be a good film. I don't know what DC is doing, but I keep going to see these films. I'm one of the more problematic parts of it. I go to see every comic book film. So I go see Sony's shitty films. I go see Fox's shitty films. I go see WB shitty
Don't
films.
put this on Sony. Sony put out Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, yes, that was animated.
Around the same time as Aquaman.
They also put out Venom.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in the same year, which is even more mind-blowing that they knew how to make Into the Spider-Verse but still made Venom. So, I go see all these movies, but I still want them to be better. But you know what? I don't pay for half of these movies. I get them as screeners. So, if you want me to get I go see Marvel movies 2 or 3 times, whether I get a screener or not. They get my money. DC, I get the screener, I go see the film, that's it. They don't get my money. Like, make a great movie, I'll go see it twice. I'll go see movies twice. But you got to make a good movie for me to go see it twice. And they haven't done that. Devin.
So, what was your highlight of of the movie? Did you enjoy the movie?
The highlight of the movie was him in the suit because it looked good. That's it. When he stood in the suit under the waterfall with his fucking, what do you call it?
The new golden trident.
With his trident and his original Aquaman suit, he looked like that looked good. They got the suit right. But then he was literally in this Aquaman suit for what? 10 minutes in the movie? Like, this movie was long as fuck. It was 2 hours and 23. I'm sitting in this movie and I'm just like, bruh, it's been an hour and a half. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. This does not seem like we're in the third act yet. The fuck is taking so long for this film to come to an end? It took forever. And you get him in his suit halfway through the third act of the film. He finally puts his suit on. And I'm like, you couldn't have had his suit the whole time? Like, you had to tell me the story that he couldn't get the suit so he gets this trident? Like, this is bullshit. Rashanii, did you have a highlight of this film?
The credits.
Ooh, fire! Shout out to Old Man Wade for liking this movie, though.
There was nothing redeemable about this movie. There was nothing good about this movie.
Mike liked this movie too.
They made I can't get past the fact that they made Aquaman's nemesis, like not a villain, his nemesis. This is Batman and Joker we're talking about. This is Spider-Man and Doc Ock. This is Superman and Lex Luthor. They made Black Manta get beat up halfway through the movie. And he got beat bad. It wasn't even close. It wasn't close. Yeah, he got beat up twice, actually. He got beat up at the beginning of the movie and halfway through the movie because they just can't see. I just refuse to believe they just can't see a black villain being good. Didn't they fucking see Killmonger? Like, they
didn't even give him an out. Like, there was a clear out built in. They could have said, he don't know how to use this technology fully yet, and it fucked him over, and so that's why he got his ass whipped, because he was trying to manipulate technology that he didn't know quite yet. But they reversed that by showing me the scene of him taking a part of this fucking technology that he's never seen before and building it into his own fucking suit. So clearly he was smart enough to understand technology. And so they didn't even give him that out, because that's the easy out. If fucking Orm gives him the suit instead of a gun and just gives him the suit and says, hey, this is a new technology, you should try this. And then he goes and tries to fight Aquaman, the suit malfunctions or he does something wrong, and that allows Aquaman to beat him. Then I'm like, okay, he got a new technology. He don't really know his Black Manta suit fully yet. And Aquaman got the best of him. But he's still formidable because he was fighting him good before everything went to shits. But that's not what happened. He fucking built his own suit from scratch and then got his ass kicked.
Up and down the block. Let's just take a famous line from I'm Gonna Get You Soul, or I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Up and down the block. I heard you cry, Mama, Mama. They whooped his ass. He couldn't avenge his daddy. He couldn't avenge his suit. And the nigga knew that they were about to make him like he knew he was a component of the sea coming up to fucking destroy the world, and still decided for a bag of gold, I'm gonna start this interplanetary war.
Yes, he did that. Yes, he did.
Let's I mean, in comic books, yeah, okay, maybe the villain's mindset is world domination or whatever. I'm gonna take over the world. His mindset was, I'm gonna help somebody else dominate me.
Yeah.
Nigga, you live on the land. You can swim, and my beloved wife Nisha, who over the span of our marriage has begun to look at movies with just as a discerning eye as I do, wondered out loud if Manta's grandfather was an Atlantean.
Oh, that old black man?
Mm-hmm. Wondered out loud because they talked about how something like he had
that Atlantean knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she was like, is his grandfather an Atlantean? And that's why he could breathe underwater and all that shit? And they probably won't even remember that in the next movie. That's the part about DC that makes me mad. They forget what they did that works, and they just see, DC movies. DC movies is like the kid who stands up and recites Martin Luther King's entire I Have a Dream speech. And then after he gets done reciting the entire speech perfectly, line for line, without any errors, without any issues, with convincing clarity, and they're just embodying the speech. After they get done with the whole thing, nobody claps. So then they fart hella loud and shit on themselves. And everybody applauds because they were going to applaud anyway. But as they're standing up to applaud, he farts and shits on himself. And so now this kid doesn't know if they're applauding his speech or applauding him shitting on himself. And that's DC in a nutshell.
And so every movie he shits on himself.
They think people are cheering him shitting on himself. And so they're just going to keep shitting on themselves. Period.
People want to like these characters. They know that. Like, that's why people they want to like these films. And they take advantage of people. And then you got the DC stans who are quite like the worst. Like, they are literally the worst. Because those people are like, these movies are good, but the Marvel movies are bad. And I'm just like, I don't know in any way you can say that. Like, even if you like the characters better, like, some people you've got to be some level of objectivity here. And there's never any with those dudes. Devin, any final thoughts about this film?
What did y'all think about the underwater Wakanda and them only getting like half a scene, like not even 5 minutes on the screen?
Like I said, they shit on themselves and thought y'all loved it.
Oh man, Wade, we're waiting for you to rebuff this shitty movie because he said he enjoyed it and it wasn't that bad.
I hear what Mike says on Monday because he liked this movie too.
I'm not gonna discount anybody who liked this movie. I mean, there's niggas who like Transformers.
There are people who like Transformers.
I enjoyed Bumblebee more than this though. I did.
Bumblebee was wonderful. I hope we talk about that soon. But the thing about, it wasn't wonderful, but it was good. It was better than this.
I was about to say, I didn't think it was wonderful. But
it was better than this.
Yes, it was better than this.
This movie literally should be the movie that makes people stop going to movies.
Thank you, sir.
Like, this movie should be the movie where when a kid turns to their parent and says, "Can we go to the movies?" The parent says, "You're not choosing the movie because the last time we went to the movies, you fucking chose that Aquaman shit." Fuck you and your little opinion, Johnny. Suck a dick. I'm never trusting you again. That should be the result of people saying they want to openly go to this movie. You make shit decisions. You make horrible decisions.
So let's move right into the Rashanii, what do you give this movie?
It's not a 0, so you better not fucking say 0.
Nigga, what? You know that trench that they swam down with the flare that never went out in the water? You know that trench, that place that they swam to when they then popped up and they were in a dry area, even though they must have swam all the way through the Earth's core to China. That racist trope just happened. You know that trench they just swam into? This movie rates lower than that.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
This movie is repellent. There's nothing redeemable about it. They even went back to the trope of having the women in the movie, the Amber Heard's character, who I never remembered her name.
Mira.
Yeah, whatever. They didn't say it. But they even had the trope of making her be helpless. Nigga, she's a warrior.
She's smarter than him.
She's way smarter than him. Everybody's smarter than him. True. That nigga was so stupid. He was so stupid for no reason.
No, but then they showed him being smart in fucking Italy.
He was so stupid that if I was Jason Mamoa, I would have been like, nigga, you better rewrite this shit. This is insulting.
So Rashanii,
like, you just think I'm hella dumb.
Rashanii
and wait, I'm not done. Let's talk about Patrick Defoe being the worst double agent ever.
The worst.
Oh,
he got caught every single time.
Yeah, he was the worst.
Let's talk about how her hideout was a boat that was under the sea, yet was in a air bubble, so it wasn't full of water like everything else under the sea.
Like, yo, his mom's a killer, yo. She been down there forever. What the fuck she eating? She killing somebody down there.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, she
And
was
the
probably
Kraken
killing them
niggas to
dinosaurs.
shine.
She's killing them dinosaurs in there. So Rashanii gives this a repellent out of 10.
I wish I could go lower than that.
It's okay.
All right, repellent out of
To
10.
quote Cardi B, I would dog walk this fucking movie.
Oh.
Devin, what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4 because
What? Out of 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
You thought out of 5?
Out of 5. I was gonna quit. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. 4.
It's a 4. It was way too long. They wasted a great cast. And I just realized that this is Jason Momoa's like fucking entry level position of being The Rock. So now we have 2 of these biracial men that can make terrible movies because they look good.
You know what's funny about it? Honestly, that role was so interchangeable. He could have done it. The Rock could have done it. Fucking Roman Reigns could have done it.
Exactly.
And when you walked out, the only thing you would have thought was one of them did this movie. There was no change in character. He didn't embody anybody. It was Jason Momoa wearing a wetsuit. Mm-hmm. That was it. Yep. That was the whole movie. Jason Momoa drinking beer. Jason Momoa talking to women. Jason Momoa killing a black father. Jason Momoa walking through Italy. Jason Momoa talking to his brother. Jason Momoa running from his brother. Jason Momoa talking to a girl. Jason Momoa running across roofs. At no point was it like he really embodied Aquaman right there. And that's the biggest point. That's the biggest problem with this movie. You never felt immersed in this movie. When I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, I was immersed in the movie. When I watched Into the Spider-Verse, I was immersed. When I watched Vice, oh my God, I was immersed. When I watched Aquaman, I was like, that's the same nigga that was...
I also never saw a king. Like, you want me to believe that that's the dude that's going to lead Atlantis? That dude?
Yeah, that white dude was annoying. He was annoying.
Neither one of them. I'm talking about Arthur or fucking Orb. Neither one of them were kings. King-like. Regal.
No.
There's nothing regal about Jason Momoa.
Lundgren is the best motherfucker you could say was being royal in this movie. That's saying something.
Hey, right? And then out of nowhere, Dolph Lundgren's like, hey, you know what? Arthur's a true king now. So let's just stop fighting.
Yeah, he did. He turned twice. He had a heel turn and a babyface turn in the same movie.
Hella quick.
I give this movie a 5. I mean, I'm being generous. I can't.
Y'all really are. Y'all got to get out of this hole. This is where
I thought this was not a good movie, but here's the thing. I have to grade it on the scale of the movies that I've graded. So if I gave Green Lantern a 2, this is not worse than Green Lantern. If I gave Batman
what
and
did
Robin,
I give Superfly?
I think you gave it a 4. You gave Superfly a 4.
Okay, cool. This is way worse than Superfly.
If I gave Batman and Robin a 1.5, then this is not worse than Batman and Robin. So no, you need to go back and watch Batman and Robin. It's just not.
No, I don't, and I'll never go back and watch Batman and Robin, and I'll never go back and watch this. So they're both in that same pile of shit.
No. Okay, fair. That's fair.
Listen, let me tell you something, Rashanii. We watched Batman and Robin. We watched Green Lantern. We're recording tonight Fantastic Four. Let me tell you something. I watched Aquaman 100 times before I watched those films. 100 times.
Yo, we really about to watch this. I really got to watch this Fantastic Four movie and talk about it. That should be crazy.
I'm sorry that y'all are putting yourselves through this, but film goers who are not doing review movies, First of all, y'all need to send these folks some money for the shit they're going through to make y'all what these movies are. You need to send them something like this, some bullshit. Secondly, all you film goers out there who are sitting here on a whatever night this review comes out, wondering if you should go to the movies, the answer is always yes, unless. Unless if you go to the movies and the only thing that's available at your 99-cent movie theater is Aquaman, don't go. You're wasting your money. 99 cents, you're wasting your money.
Well, the 99 cent is not wasting money, but the gas and the time is absolutely wasting money.
No, you could live across the street. You could walk across the street to a 99-cent movie theater with popcorn. You popped it home, and it will still be a waste of money. I went in there with Cinema's free pass. I used my Regal Club points to get a popcorn, and it was still a waste of my money because my time is money, and they wasted my entire life. Like, this was really Jason Momoa's first big film. Gotta think about that. This is his first big film. And I realized he did that show on Netflix, Frontier, so he was Jason Momoa in the Wild West.
Yeah, Jason Momoa in the Wild West.
Yeah. He's just, let's just be honest. He's cute. I'll give you that. He's an attractive dude. He's really nice. He does the haka dance really nice and all that kind of stuff. He can't act. He can't.
You want to know why this is so upsetting? Let me tell you why this is so upsetting. There are 37 films. 37 films in the history of the movies to make $1 billion. And Aquaman is one of them. 37.
I don't. Look, it must have been Hawaii and
no, it was China. They made a ridiculous amount of money in China.
Meanwhile, a man of Tai Chi can't get any love anywhere whatsoever.
Is Aquaman the worst $1 billion film of all time? Let's see. Number 1 is Avatar. It's worse than that. Titanic's 2 is worse than that. Star Wars Force Awakens, definitely worse than that. Avengers Infinity War, worse. Oh, this is tough. Jurassic World.
It's worse. It's worse.
It's way worse.
Because look, here's the thing about Jurassic World. For all the shit that I gave it, and I gave it all the shit, all of it, at least the production value was good.
It was, yes. Jurassic World is the 5th highest grossing film of all time, by the way.
Damn.
Which just shows you people are stupid. This is from
Avengers.
That is more telling than anything else right there.
It's worse than Avengers. Furious 7? I like Furious 7.
Wait, that was one with The Rock in it. Any of the Fast and Furious that had The Rock in it were good movies because they were like.
I guess who directed Furious 7? James Wan.
James Wan.
Mm-hmm. Avengers: Age of Ultron, Black Panther, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Okay.
Star Wars: Last Jedi, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. That's Jurassic World 2. Now, I can have an argument with that.
Okay,
one.
So
that one was terrible.
So that was the In the House Jurassic World that we just did a review on. The one before that was the one where they were in the park. That park was funny, even though that white one was horrible. This movie is still worse.
This is worse than 2 In the House?
Bruh.
Then the Tyrannosaurus Rex creeping around the house like it's a burglar?
Bruh, his dad fucking died. And he just left him in the house to go back underwater to fight. And then he came back and his dad was healed and waiting by the dock of the bay again.
No, that's not how. No, his dad didn't die.
His dad drowned in that tsunami.
Yeah, and then Mira pulled all the water out of him.
Right, because she can magically do that bullshit.
Yeah, she's her powers are called.
They didn't look. You're gonna stop talking like this is a comic book. They didn't explain any of this in the movie.
They did show her pulling. They did show her pulling the water out, but they didn't tell you how her powers worked. But they did show
this
that.
This movie is insurmountable at this point in time. The only movie that's worse than it, in my opinion, is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That shit
that's
was
bad.
offensive too.
Let's see: Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Incredibles 2, The Fate and the Furious.
What the what? Is that a porn?
That was Fast. I don't think The Rock was in The Fate and Furious.
Oh, The Fate. Oh no, I didn't see that one. It's probably still better than Aquaman.
Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 wasn't good, but it was better than this.
Oh, that
Ooh,
was bad.
nope, still better than
It's definitely
It
Aquaman.
made
better
$1
than
billion.
Aquaman.
I ain't know that shit. That's crazy.
Minions, Captain America, Civil War, Transformers, Dark of the Moon.
And
That's bad.
I hated Minions too. I hated Minions. I hate Transformers. I hate all these movies, but none of them gave me a visceral reaction like Aquaman. None of them.
Lord of
Not
Rings,
a single one.
Return of the
Because they advertised this movie like it was just supposed to be wonderful. And in his few minutes in Justice League, Jason Momoa was fun. And he was
fun.
great. But what I learned from watching this movie is that Jason Momoa is not built to lead a movie.
That's what I've gotten from it, but people keep telling me he's not. So I have no evidence though. So I'm gonna go with you, Rashanii, on this one. Skyfall, 22.
Oh, that's
Transformers: Age of Extinction. Now that's a horrible fucking film. That's the Mark Wahlberg fucking shit film.
awful. Shit.
That film is shit. That I don't know. That's worse than Aquaman to me. I'm sorry. Dark Knight Rises, Toy Story 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I never saw that. Rogue
That's
One, Pirates of the Caribbean, One Stranger Tides. I never saw any of the Pirates movies. Despicable Me 3, Jurassic Park, Finding Dory, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace, Episode 1. That's worse than Aquaman. Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. The Episode 1 with fucking baby Anakin. Fuck out of here. It's just worse.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Alice in Wonderland from 2010.
Not good.
Is this the Johnny Depp film?
That's the big head bitch. Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Zootopia, The Hobbit, Dark Knight, and the Aquaman. So yeah, there's a couple worse. Look at that, Rashanii. Look at that.
All of those are your own opinion. I'm just there. Look, I can say a lot more. My wife can attest that I had a lot more to say about this movie. But to protect myself, I blocked it all out.
Good for you.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
It was horrible. It was really bad. And the after credit scene wasn't worth it. Like nothing was worth it. This movie wasn't worth it. And if the movie's not worth it, then it is by definition worthless.
On that note,
worthless.
Rashanii, let's talk about a good thing. Okay, let's talk about something good. What do you have on the single simulcast coming up?
Actually, I don't know. And the reason why is because my birthday was on Friday.
Yes, it was.
I had basketball games all day on Friday, and then we celebrated on Saturday. So, see, what had happened on single simulcast is that Shantae solo hosted her first show.
Okay.
And her guest was Stephanie.
Yes, queen.
So I have no idea what was said. I just know that the suggested title of the episode, I believe, was "This Is Your Fault, Rashanii."
Okay, I gotta listen.
I'm going to listen definitely.
I'm about to upload it right now, so I have no idea. I haven't even listened to it yet. I am literally just. I'm just glad Shantae did a solo show.
That is awesome. But yeah, definitely subscribe to the Single Simulcast. I say it on every one of these reviews, but it's definitely one of my favorite podcasts. Rashani's like a podcast mentor to me. He's what I aspire to be. So definitely go listen to that show and subscribe to it.
If I'm what you aspire to be, then you gotta stop fucking with bullshit like Aquaman. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I am a fair critic. All right, I give everything a chance, even shitty films. And so I even gave Aquaman. I gave it it's still below average. 6 is average.
You know what? I am looking forward to seeing Happy Death Day to You.
Yes, I'm looking
more
to
than
see
I
that.
was to see Aquaman.
But here's the thing: Happy Death Day was not bad.
It wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't bad at all. So surprise! I mean, it looked like a shitty movie before it came out, but it wasn't.
Right.
So that probably will be better than Aquaman. All right, guys, we will be back for more reviews. We got to get, like I said, I got behind with our move. So we already did Spider-Man. We just did Aquaman. We're gonna do Vice. We're gonna do Beale Street. We're gonna do a whole bunch